Welcome back to the channel, folks. I am Matt. Hope you're all doing well. Today, we're going to check out the WHIZ Mod Pod by a company called VOZOL. V-O-Z-O-L. I think it's pronounced VOZOL. This is a 1200 milliamp hour pod mod. Let's go ahead and dive into it. Now, I'm not sure if this packaging was just sent out for samples because it's pretty big. I'm kind of doubting that retail versions will have a box like this. But you never know. I could be wrong. Very nice presentation, though. Inside, you got some info about VOZOL. This little card that talks about the product, the specs, and the coils. You get your device, one pod, 2 coils, a cap, a USB-C charging cable, and finally, a manual and a warranty card. So here is the device, built out of what I think is zinc alloy with the frame there, and then you have these leather panels on this one. Feels really nice. I dig it. The one I've been using is a camo, and the panels on that feel plastic. On that side, you got your USB-C airflow inlets. They engraved "Suck My Mod" on there. On the bottom there, it says designed by VOZOL, made in China. It says VOZOL right there, and WHIZ right there. Your fire button, your controls right there, and another airflow inlet. On the inside there, you do have 2 magnets, your contacts, and then there's draw activation little holes right there. I want to say both of those work for the draw activation. Now, these pods do hold 4 mLs of liquid. There's what your mouthpiece looks like. Pretty standard. It's contour, but it's got that squared off shape that we've seen a lot. You got to take this sticker off. Come on, there we go. And there is where your fill port is. Now on the bottom there, you got that little hole right there, and that is for draw activation. And that runs up that tube right there over to one side of the mouthpiece, so that activates it. Magnets. And the first coil you get is the AIS M3, 0.3 ohms, 25 watts to 40 watts, and that is a mesh coil. And the next one you get is the M6. That one is 0.6 ohms, 12 to 25 watts, also mesh. And on the paperwork here, they do show a picture of the different kinds of mesh. This is the 0.3 ohm. And this one is the 0.6 ohm. So I'm going to install the 0.6 because I have the 0.3 in my other device. Going to try to put a couple drops of liquid down inside there. Then you press fit these coils, and notice on this 0.6 ohm, it's got smaller airflow holes around the bottom. And on the 0.3 ohm, it's larger slots. So now let's go to fill this. Open up the plug there. You got a fill port right there. And because of where the fill port is located, you got to do a little bit of tilty action. I would have rather it had been on, one of the sides or something, or top or bottom. 4 ml capacity. When done, just close that back up. And let's go ahead and turn this device on. 5 clicks. Nice screen on here. On that home screen, it says VOZOL, your battery bar, your wattage, your ohms, your voltage, puff counter, times, and your best stat. And that will change depending on the ohm load you have in here. Now, this does scroll in 1 watt increments all the way up to 40 watts. Does not round robin, and it goes all the way down to 5 watts. Now, let's go ahead and put our pod in. So now that it's saying 0.6, it gives you a best at 18 to 25 watts, and it maxes out at 25 watts. Now on the 0.3 ohm, it lets you go all the way up to 40 watts. Now if you hit the fire button and the up button, that locks everything, these controls and the fire button. No way to only lock these controls, unfortunately. If you hit the fire button and the down button, that clears your puffs. And then if you want to turn it off, 5 clicks. There we go. The button on this thing feels great. Now, It's always going to be either draw activated or button activated. No way to turn one on and one off. So just keep that in mind. You'll always be able to button fire or use the draw activation. I like the way you can see your liquid windows on both sides there. Pods fit in really nicely. Little tiny bit of rocking back and forth, but it's not bad. The magnets feel pretty strong. And then you got this cap right here that you can use. Oh, also one other thing to point out about the USB-C, this does have 2 amp charging, so it charges up pretty fast. So there's a look at it in the hand. It's pretty thin for a pod mod, but smaller battery, 1200 milliamp hour battery. Here it is next to a Nord 2. Nord 2 has a larger battery. It looks a little smaller, but it is thicker. And again, here is that camo one I've been using. All right, guys, that is it for the up close. Let's go ahead, go up top, vape these, and talk about them a little more. All right, here is the WHIZ by VOZOL. This one has the 0.6 ohm. Also, something I forgot to mention in the up close, the wicking that they're using, what did they call it? In the coil heads is a natural seaweed fiber cotton coil. Okay, 0.6 ohms, 25 watts. There is no airflow control. Let's vape it. Flavor's really nice. It's a medium restricted long hit vape, the 0.6 ohm here. Wish it was a little bit warmer, and it won't let me go up past 25 watts. Here it is with the draw activation. Draw activation works great. Now, this one has the 0.3 ohm. I have this one at 35 watts. Let's go ahead and vape that. That one gives me a tiny bit more airflow, but I do get more warmth from it as well. And I can go all the way up to 40 with that one. Yeah, I like the 0.3 ohm a little bit better, just because I can get a little more wattage, a little more warmth. Again, a medium restricted long hit. Now, going into pros and cons. Cons first. First off, I wish they would have put the fill port in a different spot than on the large face of the side there. You know, you get used to it, but you got to do some tilting and stuff when you go to fill. I've complained about that with other devices before. Also, would have been nice if you could just lock these controls and not the fire button, but maybe they can do that with the firmware update. Also, the battery's not super large in this thing, 1200 milliamp hours. And so I think they missed the boat by not making this a little more of an MTL device, or at least offering one MTL coil in the package. I'm assuming they probably will be making MTL coils for this, but it just seems like it would be better geared for that because of the size. Now, going into pros, build quality is great, and I really like this orange one. I think it looks really nice. The button feels great. USB-C quick charging, which is great. Controls feel nice. It's a nice vape. The coils work really well. It's very flavorful. No AFC though, which is a bummer, so we could count that as a con. Nice bright screen. The mouthpiece is comfortable, holds 4 mLs of liquid. So it's solid for a first offering, but there's a few things that I think they could work on, like MTL coils, where you put your fill port, so on and so forth. So I think, you know, if this company sticks around, they're going to get better and better at stuff like that. Or maybe get more input from, you know, outside sources as far as, you know, what to do with a certain device. This, I think, should have been geared more towards MTL because of the battery size. But if you want a tiny little pod mod just for out and about, you don't mind the 1200 milliamp hour battery, and you like restricted lung hits, you could definitely do worse. It's made really well. It works well. It vapes well. So, you know, I'm kind of mixed on it. One thumb up, one thumb down. Also, I give them props for the presentation. They did a great job there as far as the way everything was boxed and all the info they provide. Now, price on this is about 35 bucks. Let's end it there, folks. That about wraps it up. Until next time, thanks for watching. Suck my mod.